A young freedman walks through the ancient city of Rome, his sandals slapping against the hot stones. He's on his way to work, his mind already planning the day ahead. The forum is bustling with activity. Senators are giving orders. Merchants are haggling over prices, and the Colosseum is alive with the roar of the crowd. But the freedman isn't interested in any of that. He has his own life to live, his own goals to achieve. As he walks, he greets friends and acquaintances, stopping to chat for a while before continuing on his way. Time seems to slow down in these moments, and the freeman feels a sense of contentment. This is his city, too, and he takes pride in every cobblestone street and ancient temple. He works as a carpenter, and his workshop is tucked away in a quiet corner of the city. It's a small space, but it's his, and he takes pride in his work. As he hammers away at a piece of wood, shaping it to his will, he feels a sense of satisfaction. This, too, is a part of Rome. The skilled artisans working in their workshops, creating objects that will be used and enjoyed by others. But it's not all just work and no play. The freeman has a family, a wife and kids who are the center of his world. He works hard to provide for them, to give them a better life than the one he had. When he comes home from work, he plays with his kids, teaching them how to throw a discus and telling them stories about the old Roman heroes. His wife, too, has her own story, one that she'll tell him later that night as they eat dinner together. As the sun begins to set, the freeman heads to the public baths. He soaks in the hot water, feeling the tension of the day melt away. This is a place of relaxation and community, where men of all ages and social classes come to refresh themselves. As night falls, the freeman lights a lamp and sits down to eat dinner with his family. They talk about their day, their plans for the future, and the stories they've heard from friends who've traveled far and wide. It's a simple life, but it's good. The freeman knows that he's lucky. He's free. He has a family, and he lives in the greatest city in the world. As he looks up at the stars, he feels a sense of wonder and gratitude. This, too, is part of Rome, the everyday magic that makes life worth living. Rome is stirring. Sounds drift in through his open window. In the distance, the harsh clang of a blacksmith's hammer echoes off the forum walls. Nearer, the raucous call of a street vendor hawking his wares mingles with the murmur of early shoppers. Still, inside his modest apartment, the freedman lies comfortably on his straw-filled mattress, tucked under a coarse wool blanket. He stirs, half dreaming of a fig orchard heavy with ripe fruit, its branches laden and bowing under the midday sun. Then he remembers. He is home. His eyes slowly flutter open. He sits up on his mattress, stretching out his arms towards the dim morning light that filters through his window. It's not yet time to rise. Not while the sun is still shyly peeking over the rooftops, and the city is only beginning to awaken. He spends a few stolen moments basking in the warmth of his bed, feeling the softness of the straw beneath him and the comforting weight of the blanket. But soon, the thought of breakfast beckons him from his slumber. He slips out of bed, careful not to disturb the small pile of clothing that serves as his pillow. As he stands, his joints creak in sleepy protest. Another day begins, much like the last and much like the one before. Yet within the routine, there's a quiet satisfaction. There's a simple joy in the predictable rhythm of his life. His apartment is humble, its walls bare, except for a few personal touches. A small basin holds clean water near the door, a reminder of the recent bath he enjoyed at the public bath. On the opposite wall, a shelf holds chipped but sturdy plates and a dented iron cooking pot. His leather sandals rest by the door, patiently waiting for the day's work. The freedman, dressed in his simple tunic, runs a hand over his rounded belly. He feels a twinge of hunger, a gentle reminder that breakfast awaits. He makes his way to the corner where a small table sits, patiently waiting for him. There, a piece of bread dipped in oil waits, ready to sustain him through the day ahead. Stretching out his hand, he traces the grooves in the wood. This table, like many things in his life, is well used, bearing silent witness to countless meals. It's a steadfast companion in his quiet daily rituals. The oil-soaked bread tastes good, simple, yet satisfying. A eats, slowly savoring each bite, and allowing the flavors to linger on his tongue. As he eats, he keeps an ear out for the sounds that tell the story of his neighborhood waking up. A rooster crows in the distance. The metallic ring of a blacksmith's hammer echoes faintly. The rumble of a cart over cobblestones signals the start of a busy day for a street vendor. To the Freedman, these sounds are more than just noises. They are a familiar lullaby that has accompanied him for many years. With his stomach full, the Freedman washes his hands in the small basin. He splashes water over them, enjoying the coolness on his skin and the way it refreshes his senses. Gently drying his hands, he sets out from his apartment, pulling his tunic tight around his shoulders. The streets of Rome beckon, inviting him into the heart of the city. Outside, in the bustling marketplace, merchants loudly hawk their wares, competing with the bleating of sheep, the clucking of chickens, and the lowing of cattle. Everywhere there is movement. Shoppers weave through the crowds, vendors call out prices, and delivery boys race ahead of impatient customers. Despite the vibrant chaos, the Freedman moves with a calm assurance. He expertly navigates the narrow lanes, his gaze steady, his steps sure. The weight of the baskets he carries is familiar. The path he follows has been worn smooth by countless journeys. He nods to those he meets, exchanging pleasantries in a language of smiles and gestures. Every turn brings a new sound, a new sight, a new story unfolding around him. The air is thick with the aromas of spices, fresh bread, and ripe fruit, mingling with the less savory scents of animal skins and stale waste. All of it is part of the rich, complex tapestry that is the marketplace of Rome. The Freeman stops at a butcher's stall, engaging in lively banter with the burly butcher. As he selects a chicken, admiring its plumpness and noting its fine feathers. From there, he moves on, collecting eggs from a vendor, bartering for fish at the waterfront stalls, and tasting olives at a merchant's counter. He knows the best taverns for a quick midday meal, the freshest bakeries for a crusty loaf, and the most reliable moneylenders for a loan in times of need. He is a man who knows his city, his trade, and the value of a hard day's work. This is Rome. You probably already know that. But let me ask you something. What do you really know about Rome? Do you know what it smelled like? Have you heard the sound of its fountains and bustling streets? Can you picture the sights and feel the textures of its everyday life? You might be surprised to know that ancient Rome wasn't just about emperors, wars, and monuments. Ordinary life there was filled with simple pleasures and routines. Imagine yourself as a freedman, a former slave who has recently earned his freedom. Your day has passed gently. The morning has passed quickly. Now you find yourself pausing in your workshop, setting down your tools for a moment. The rich scent of tanned leather fills the air, mingling faintly with the warmth of the midday sun streaming through the window. Outside, the neighborhood is quieted down. Children are still playing, their laughter carried to you on a soft breeze. Neighbors move along the stone-paved streets with slow purpose. You wipe your hands carefully on a cloth, feeling the slight roughness of the fibers against your palms, and take a slow, deliberate breath. You savor the moment. There is a rhythm to this part of the day, a calm interval between morning labor and the tasks that await you after your midday meal. It is a time to notice small details, the ordinary textures and sounds that make life gentle. The streets are alive with soft movements. A baker lifts a tray of freshly baked bread from his oven. The aroma drifts through the warm air like a subtle invitation. He pauses for a moment, leaning against the doorway, inhaling deeply the scent of grains, yeast, and the faint smokiness of the fire. Nearby, a woman balances a large clay jar of water on her head. She adjusts her grip carefully as she navigates the uneven stones. Freedom to move without hurry, the quiet acknowledgement of others in the streets, creates a sense of calm order. Now you turn your attention to the first meal of the day, one that is meant to pause and nourish, rather than fuel labor. You walk slowly toward a modest popina, a small tavern where neighbors gather to share both sustenance and conversation. The popina is warm. Its wooden tables are smoothed over years of hands brushing against them. The air is fragrant, the mixture of simmering lentils, roasted vegetables, and the subtle temps of fresh bread creating a gentle, inviting atmosphere. You settle onto a bench near the window where sunlight filters softly across your tunic, warming the fabric against your skin. A bowl of porridge is brought to you, thick and fragrant, seasoned with mild herbs like thyme and cumin. Bread accompanies the meal, and a small piece of cheese offers a creamy counterpoint to the soft grains. You dip a corner of bread into olive oil, savoring its subtle bitterness and silky texture. A small cup of watered wine sits beside you, warming your hands and adding a faint sweetness to the calm of the room. Around you, the quiet life of the neighborhood unfolds. Across the room, a young mother feeds her child, breaking bread carefully into small pieces. Two laborers quietly discuss the work of the morning, their voices low, steady and calm. The baker's apprentice moves behind the counter, placing freshly baked loaves on shelves with gentle precision. You listen, watching, and appreciate the unhurried interactions that surround you. These small, ordinary stories that quietly fill the hours with connection and comfort. After eating, you remain for a moment, allowing the warmth of the room and the gentle sounds of conversation to fill you with calm. You greet a neighbor who passes by with a nod and a soft salve, exchanging a few words about the weather or the state of the streets. These interactions, small as they are moments of connection, a quiet thread that binds you and your neighbors together. With your meal finished, you step back into the streets. The sun has climbed higher, warming the stones and casting long, soft shadows across walls and rooftops. Vendors are arranging goods for afternoon sales, figs, dates, and simple textiles. Each item presented carefully, the colors muted but pleasing. A woman carries a basket of fresh vegetables, and the slight rustle of leaves brushing the basket edges blends with the occasional coo of doves perched atop rooftops. You stop briefly at a small shrine, offering a silent nod to the household gods. The marble is smooth beneath your fingers. The incense is burning faintly, sending up a soft, fragrant smoke. You breathe in the subtle aromas, the mixture of herbs and wax, and let yourself linger a moment, feeling the calm of ritual, the quiet reassurance that life has a rhythm, a gentle order that you can trust. As you move through the neighborhood, you see children playing a simple game with small wooden knuckle bones. They roll them across the stones with soft thuds, counting points with hushed excitement. A young boy tips over a small jar accidentally, and you kneel calmly, righting it and handing it back, eliciting a shy smile and a whispered gracias. These small interactions, tender and unobtrusive, create a sense of shared community, a quiet network of care and recognition that colors the ordinary day with warmth. You stop at the fountain to drink, cupping water in your hands. The cool liquid slides smoothly over your fingers, the gentle splash mixing with the soft gurgle of flowing water. Nearby, a woman tilts her jar, filling it carefully, and nods a greeting. These small moments, repeated across streets and neighborhoods, create a gentle pattern, subtle, soothing, a rhythm that mirrors your own heartbeat. As the late afternoon sun tilts gently toward the west, the Freedman notices the soft change in light. The harsh brightness of midday softens into a warm golden hue, casting long shadows across the stone streets and red-tiled rooftops. The air grows cooler, carrying with it the faint scent of baking bread, the aroma of simmering vegetables, and the earthy temps of herbs drying on windowsills. The city seems to exhale gently, a pause between the activity of day and the quiet of evening. After a day filled with steady work, social visits, and small errands, the Freedman prepares for one of the most soothing parts of the Roman day, the bath. He steps lightly through the familiar streets, sandals scuffing softly against the uneven paving stones. Children are playing quietly in the alleys, their laughter gentle and muted now, and neighbors are returning home with baskets of food, the soft thump of their steps blending with the occasional clink of pottery. Arriving at the local public baths, he notices the soft steam rising from pools of warm water. The baths are a sanctuary of gentle warmth and subdued conversation, a place where laborers, artisans, and freedmen alike gather for refreshment and quiet socializing. The air is fragrant with olive oil and the faint temps of herbs, rosemary, bay leaves, and perhaps lavender. Water splashes softly, echoing through the marble corridors, blending with hushed greetings and the rhythmic brushing of scrapers on skin. The freedman undresses carefully, feeling the cool air on his skin for a brief moment before stepping into the warm waters. The sensation is calming. Muscles that have been busy with work relax under the gentle weight of the water. He moves slowly, allowing each step to be deliberate, each motion a quiet meditation. Around him, other bathers, carry out their routines with similar calm. A man applies oil to his skin, rubbing it slowly with a strigil, the gentle scraping sound adding to the rhythmic hum of the room. Two women chat softly near the edge of a pool, their voices low, the words carrying warmth without urgency. Children splash lightly, their movements controlled and playful, contributing to the soothing rhythm rather than creating chaos. The freedman lingers in the warm water, inhaling deeply, letting the steam fill his lungs, relaxing both body and mind. Here, time seems to stretch. The ordinary world of streets, workshops, and errands falls away for a while, replaced by the calm, meditative rhythm of water, warmth, and gentle human presence. Did you know Roman baths were more than just a place for washing? They were centers of social life, reflection, and relaxation. Even freedmen with modest means could enjoy the communal baths, where both body and spirit were nurtured in quiet, steady rhythms. After the baths, the freedman returns to his small apartment. The cool evening air contrasts gently with the warmth of the baths. Brushing softly against damp skin, he wraps himself in a simple tunic and sandals and prepares for the evening meal. Another simple but satisfying part of the day. The table is modest. A small loaf of bread, some boiled vegetables, a few olives, perhaps a slice of cheese. It's slowly savoring each bite, mindful of the flavors, textures, and warmth of the food. The aroma of olive oil and freshly baked bread fills the small apartment, mixing with the faint scent of herbs drying nearby. Occasionally, he takes a sip of watered wine, letting it warm his hands and throat, a quiet companion to the meal. Across the way, neighbors carry out similar rituals. A woman places a pot of lentils on a low table, her children hovering quietly, waiting for their share. A man trims vegetables for a simple stew, humming softly as he works. The freedman notices these small, ordinary acts, feeling a subtle connection to the lives unfolding around him. Even the simple act of eating becomes an experience of calm, sensory richness, and gentle appreciation. Once the meal is complete, the freedman tends to small evening chores. Perhaps he repairs a sandal for tomorrow's work, mends a tunic, or sweeps the floor to remove traces of the day. Each action is deliberate, carried out with care and attention. The sound of the broom bristles brushing stone is soft and rhythmic. The scrape of leather against the workbench blends into the quiet symphony of the apartment. He might step briefly outside to check the neighborhood. The streets are calmer now, bathed in the soft glow of the setting sun. Children are returning home, their quiet chatter fading into the distance. The smell of roasting food drifts from open windows, mingling with the faint scent of wood smoke. A gentle breeze carries the faint sound of a fountain gurgling, a comforting, steady rhythm against the quiet hush of evening. As the final light of the sun softens, the freedman begins to prepare for rest. Lamps are lit, their oil burning gently, casting a warm, flickering glow across the walls of his apartment. Shadows dance slowly, elongating across simple furnishings, giving a sense of movement without noise. The aroma of lingering food, oil and herbs fills the air, mingling with the soft, cool scent of evening air drifting in through the window. He changes into a lighter tunic, folds his sandals neatly, and settles small items for the next day. A piece of bread, a sharpened tool, a clean cloth. Each movement is calm, deliberate, a gentle preparation that signals the end of daily activity and the approach of rest. He may pause to sit by the window, listening to the subtle symphony of evening, the faint murmur of distant voices, the soft splash of a fountain, the whisper of leaves in a gentle breeze. Perhaps he observes neighbors preparing their own homes for the night, exchanging quiet words or gentle nods. There is a pervasive sense of calm, a shared understanding that the day's labor is done and the city is settling into rest. Before lying down, the freedman reflects on the day, the morning work, the soft rhythms of the streets, the meals, errands, and interactions all have flowed gently, without rush or drama. Each moment, ordinary yet rich in detail, has contributed to a steady, soothing rhythm that carries him naturally toward rest. He inhales deeply, feeling the warmth of the lamps, the faint scent of oil and bread, and the calm weight of routine. The freedman allows his thoughts to drift slowly, like the soft currents of air through the window. Each minor event, each quiet exchange, each gentle rhythm of labor or leisure becomes a soothing pattern, a slow pulse guiding him toward night. The lamps flicker softly, shadows lengthen, and the freedman's home becomes a quiet refuge. Outside, the city exhales into evening, the streets cooling, the sounds fading, the neighborhood settling in preparation for night. The rhythm of Rome continues quietly, gently, carrying the freedman and you, as the listener toward the slow, peaceful conclusion of the day. Slowly, the freedman makes his way home, his sandals making soft thwacks on the pavement. It's been a good day, a full day, and he walks with a weariness that is comfortable, a kind of quiet satisfaction that comes from a day's work. Well done. Reaching his apartment door, he pauses for a moment, taking a deep breath, savoring the lingering smells of the day. The scent of leather from his workshop, the faint taste of olives from his lunch, and the sweet aroma of bread baking nearby. Each whiff is a sensory bookmark, reminding him of moments, flavors, and textures that made up his day. As the last rays of sunlight bleed out of the sky, the freedman opens the door to his modest apartment. Inside, the room is dim, but not quite dark. The dying embers of the day still glow in the west, sending slim shafts of light through the window, illuminating motes dancing in the still air. He closes the door behind him, the rough wood a familiar touch against his shoulder. Gently, the freedman begins the small tasks of his evening. There is a worn table and stool in the corner, remnants of furniture from his previous life when he was a slave. But now they are his, and he treats them with the quiet dignity of ownership. He washes his hands in a ceramic basin, the water cool on his skin, and then runs a finger through his short beard, feeling the tickle of stubble and tugging stray hairs back into place. This small grooming ritual is more than just cleanliness. It's a tribute to his humanity, a small act of defiance against a life that once denied him such basic dignity. Then, seated on his stool, he begins the slow task of cleaning and organizing his tools. His hands move with a practiced grace, the calluses of his fingertips flexing as he smooths and shapes leather strips. Each movement a silent song of dedication and purpose. His fingers trace the grooves and contours of his tools, feeling the cool smoothness of bone, the reassuring heft of metal, and the soft give of leather straps. Each tool is more than just an instrument of his trade. They are extensions of himself, companions in his daily creation, and they deserve this evening care. The freedman eats quickly, mindlessly, his loaf of bread and pot of stew disappearing with the quiet efficiency of habit. He doesn't need to savor each bite tonight. His appetite is genuine, but his belly is full, and so he eats with the relaxed attention of one who is comfortable with plenty. After washing down his food with sips of watered wine, he cleans his plate, the ceramic surface cool and comforting beneath his fingertips. When the dishes are cleared and the table is bare, the freedman returns to his tools, picking up a scrap of leather and idly tracing the lines of his knife blade. In this simple act, there is contentment, the feel of the grain beneath his fingers, the promise of tomorrow's work, and the solitude of his evening all weave together in a quiet harmony. With the slow onset of night, the sounds of the city change. The distant clatter of midday traffic fades, replaced by the hushed murmur of evening conversations and the gentle splash of water from fountains. The freedman, lost in his world of leather and stitch, barely notices he is in the flow of his work, moving with a calm precision, shaping, smoothing, and stitching. His movements are deliberate, guided by years of practice and an innate understanding of his craft. For the freedman, the evening is not a time for revelry or boisterous laughter. It's a time for quiet, for reflection, and for the simple satisfaction of his craft. He works until his fingers ache with a pleasant fatigue, until the last sliver of daylight fades from his window, and until the shadows grow long and still. Only then does he lay down his tools, each one finding its place in the organized jumble that is his workspace. He washes himself once more, this time with cold water that shocks and invigorates, making him shiver and pull his tunic tighter around his shoulders. But it wakes him from his focused state, pulling him gently back to the present. Standing on the threshold of his home, he turns, taking a deep breath and listening to the night. All around him, the city exhales. From within the walls, the soft sounds of evening life drift to him, the murmur of voices from neighboring apartments, the distant strum of a lyre, and the splash of water from a nearby fountain. He listens, not just hearing, but absorbing, feeling connected to this symphony of the night. Then, with a serene smile, he steps back into the quiet of his home, closing the door behind him. Soon, the lamp beside his bed will sputter and die, leaving the Freedman in darkness, wrapped in the comforting sounds and smells of his small world. His sleep will be deep and dreamless, undisturbed by the worries of the day or the anxieties of the future. For the Freedman, night brings peace. It is the time for rest, for renewal, and for preparation for the new day. And now, as the Freedman lies quietly in his small apartment wrapped in the familiar warmth of his straw-filled bed and coarse wool blanket, the soft glow of the moon drifts through the window, painting silver patterns across the walls. The lamps burn low, their flickering flames adding a gentle warmth to the room. And outside, the streets of the neighborhood have fallen into a serene hush. The fountains murmur quietly. The leaves whisper in the gentle night breeze, and even the distant footsteps have faded into the peaceful rhythm of the city at rest. The day has been long, yet beautifully ordinary, filled with small, comforting routines. From the first stretch of morning work to the quiet ritual of a midday meal, the gentle errands and soft interactions with neighbors, the calm visit to the patron's house, the soothing warmth of the afternoon baths, and finally, the evening reflections all have flowed together like a gentle stream. Each moment has carried a sense of purpose, satisfaction, and quiet joy. And now, in the stillness of night, it all comes together into a gentle sense of peace and contentment. Take a slow, deep breath. Imagine the Freedman's quiet apartment. The faint scent of olive oil lingering from earlier meals. The subtle aroma of herbs drying on the windowsill, and the soft warmth of a blanket against his skin. Listen to the gentle symphony outside. The distant cooing of pigeons, settling for the night. The soft gurgle of the fountain, and the faint whisper of the wind through the narrow streets. Each sound, each subtle detail contributes to a feeling of safety, calm, and harmony. As the Freedman reflects on his day, he remembers small moments of joy. The gentle laughter of children playing with knucklebones, the warm greetings exchanged with neighbors, the delicate care given to his work, and the sense of belonging that comes from being part of a quiet, supportive community. These simple yet meaningful moments are a reminder that even ordinary life, when lived with presence and care, can be beautiful and deeply satisfying. Now, as he drifts slowly into sleep, you too can let go of the day's cares. Feel the weight of your body sinking into your own rest. Let your thoughts slow like a gentle river, and allow the soft, ordinary beauty of life to carry you toward dreams. The day is complete. The city is calm. The Freedman sleeps, and so can you, wrapped in the steady rhythm of daily life, the soft textures of the world, and the warm, quiet glow of night. And just as the Freedman ends his day in comfort and contentment, we invite you to bring this calm into your own life. If you enjoyed exploring a day in the life of a Roman freedman, gently walking through his routines, meals, social interactions, and evening reflections, please like this video. And for more peaceful journeys through history, soft stories of ordinary lives, and calming explorations that guide you gently toward rest, be sure to subscribe to our channel. By doing so, you'll join our community of listeners who appreciate the quiet beauty of history, one serene story at a time. May your nights be calm, your rest be deep, and your dreams be filled with gentle wonders. The day has passed like the changing tides, ebbing and flowing with the rhythm of the sun and the earth. Now, as the last rays of daylight surrender to the embrace of twilight, a hush falls over the city. The air, once vibrant with the buzz of activity, grows still. The sounds of hammers shaping bronze, the murmur of shoppers bartering for wares, and the laughter of children at play gradually fade into the soft embrace of evening. In this tranquil space between day and night, the Freedman finds solace. His small apartment becomes his sanctuary, a place where the echoes of a busy day gently fade into the comforting silence of twilight. Within these four walls, he unwinds the threads of the day, releasing the tension of labor, the weight of responsibilities, and the myriad concerns that tugged at his attention throughout the day. The worries about provisions for the coming week, the mending of damaged tools, and the endless negotiations of daily life soften and recede. As darkness drapes itself over the city, Blanketing its rooftops and winding streets, the freedman finds a strange comfort in the shadows. The fading light brings with it a sense of release, a feeling that the world, too, is resting, sharing in the quietude that envelops his small abode. In the dimming glow of the lamps, his eyes grow heavy, his steps slower, and his heart beats in time with the soft rhythm of the night. And now, with the freedom that only comes with a day well lived, a life well earned, he prepares for slumber. He pulls his blanket close, seeking the warmth of its familiar embrace. His breathing deepens, his muscles relax, and his thoughts drift like fallen leaves in a gentle evening breeze. The sounds of the city, the distant hum of evening conversation, the soft lapping of water in nearby fountains, and the hushed whispers of the night wind weaving tales through the ancient stones become the lullaby of his evening. And as the city of Rome sighs into the stillness of night, the freedman surrenders to the arms of sleep. His dreams, like the stars beginning to glimmer in the inky expanse above, hold within them the promise of new adventures, new joys, and new challenges that await him in the dawning light of a brand new day.